कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen, yaar, don't be so conservative. Welcome to Cider Says, brought to you by Jupiter, a banking app that helps you master your money. We're very close, Jupiter and me, and we've come up with these ideas to help you have a better clue about your finances. Of course, we may not necessarily help you increase your finances, but processing your finances is where we come in. Increasing your finances, Amit Doshi will take over. He's very good at that. He'll help you with that in a second. But first, I just want to rant. Last night, it was Wednesday morning, in case you're listening to this in 2034, don't blame me and don't look at the calendar. Last night, went to the airport to pick up the son who's coming back after 9 months. No, there's no kids, from Canada. And me, my good friend Kunal Vijaykar, Athlete of the Year, and my lovely wife Aisha, who actually is Athlete of the Year. And can I tell you that when you're waiting outside that number 6, whatever it's called, gate, waiting for the arrivals to come in from domestic, because they take a domestic flight from Delhi, so it's finally a domestic arrival, they have benches without any back support. I saw some of the oldest people in the world sitting there, about to die, about to expire, because they can't hold their bodies upright, sitting on those. I think it's really cruel. And someone has to put their foot down and say, this cannot be done. Either you give us back support or give us no support whatsoever. It makes no sense. You can't, except for maybe 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds. There's not too many people who can actually balance their bodies without back support and armrests. What is wrong? How insensitive can we be? Airports have huge budgets. Give us arms, give us back supports. It's a small plea. Speaking of support, we have a good support system on the show, thank God. We have Navin Narona, always angry, sometimes funny. We have Silvery, who for him, work is worship, so he's always here in the studio. Oops, again not here. How did that happen? I don't know. Never seen that situation before. And we have Amit Doshi, who probably is worried that I'm the only person he's employed who's ahead of everybody else and has to wait outside for 10 minutes on a regular basis. The watchman sees me entering and I can see the fear in his eyes now, because I'm going to start with all my stress and then stress him out. It was a good job till then. Sarji, parking milega. And when that awkward pause happens with watchmen, that's the moment when you know this is going to be a long day.
This is going to be
oof, ouch. Yeah. So welcome to the show, Amit. After a long time, he's been very busy, folks, organizing all kinds of things. And the wedding is in July, and let's hope it takes off.
Who's
Congrats.
When we don't have any news, we make the news. I learned that
okay.
from a 9 p.m. English news, so now does Hindi as well. Expert. Guy is fantastic. He just give me a story, I'll make up my own story and we'll take it
I
from there.
can make stuff up with the best of it.
You think you could get married now, Amit, still? Or you think
Sure.
in your 40s it's not a thing that'll happen?
No, I don't think it's necessarily a thing that won't happen. It's not a thing that I'm like seeking out actively. But at the same time,
It's not like a lottery, you're just going to wake up and some girl is going to say, let's get married. There has to be some active participation.
well, I mean, like there is. I'm saying I'm not seeking marriage out actively.
So you look down on the institution.
No, not necessarily.
Let's get Navin's views are left of field. I wonder. Naveen, would you get married if they allowed it? And all
No.
that? Would
No.
marriage be a thing?
No, I've seen enough straight people suffer in my entire life, and
Yeah.
my activism is not based on the fact that we should get the same amount of suffering. I think we should be happier in life, so that's why we are allowed to do whatever we want to do as queer people. That's my life.
I don't know if the gender preference even comes into it. I'm just thinking once you link with someone for a long
Yeah,
period of time, male,
but
female, whatever.
that's the issue, right? Like people tie themselves down with one person, and that should not be a thing.
And if
But
you go
there
against
is
your
a
basic
statistic.
nature. Yeah.
Isn't there a statistic which says that same-sex marriages are more successful than heterosexual marriages?
Yeah, because
Islam.
they're mostly open in
That's
nature.
because you
They're
don't cheat with another girl when you're with a man.
Okay.
From that
But you could
perspective.
cheat with other men. You could cheat with other
Yeah,
men.
yeah,
I
we're just
don't-
killing the comedy,
Yeah.
brother. I'll just leave the studio. What the? You're taking this seriously, this
I mean,
fucking
but
show.
yeah.
Please
What's
don't
wrong
silence
with you
the watchman
guys?
will get stressed again.
I'll go down and argue with him. He's my friend.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
today is
I
May
did the-
4th.
Yeah,
May the
4th
4th
be
be
with
with
you
you.
guys.
Oh, it's the day.
Star Wars
Oh,
Day.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big. Oh, it's
Yeah.
postponed.
Star
by
I know
one more day.
Naveen is a massive Star Wars nut.
This is
if
Star
I'm
Wars
not
Day,
wrong.
no?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Raj Thakre's.
No, that's a different. That was May the
Sorry,
3rd.
guys. My sci-fi and your sci-fi, two different shows.
Sci-fi.
That
Yeah.
was May the 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pushed by a day.
Which was pushed by
Because
the
he wanted
May
to
the
watch
4th.
Star Wars. With loudspeakers, guys. Because sound is audio is 80% of that show. How can you get away from audio?
Yeah.
Audio makes
Yeah,
it.
for Raj Thakre, it's Bihar Wars. So it's a
Yeah.
different kind of war for him.
Yeah. No longer
Uh,
Bihar was. No, he's gone from regional to communal. It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's this secularism from the reverse side. Let's find
Yeah,
many
yeah.
different ways to polarize.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for right-handers, left-handers, short, tall, fat, thin. It's coming soon. Theater next to you. Let's get
Let's
our
get
LIGT.
Yes.
lightsabers.
Oh,
Lightsabers.
sorry.
That's it was, and wish each other.
Let
Have
uncle
you
excuse uncle out of the room for 5 minutes.
No, spelling is wrong. It's written like
Yeah,
have
I
any
know.
of you
Come on. Yeah.
have any of you ever owned like Star Wars merchandise like Amit?
Yeah, I
I'm
owned a
sure you
bunch
like
of it.
lightsabers and all.
I do, yeah.
I
yeah.
had
I
Only in Pattaya
Huh?
with the ladies. No.
And it's so
no,
silly.
so I,
Like the way I was introduced to Star Wars because my sister used to intern at Star Movies, and like I had no idea
cool.
until I was 11 that what Star Wars was as a concept. But then Star Movies was doing like an entire marathon, and they had given out Luke Skywalker masks. Like they had Chewbacca mask.
1
Luke
minute. You're
Skywalker.
talking about the avatar of Star Wars with the baldy and whatever. No, that's Star Trek. With the
No,
many
this
different
is
Star Wars. I don't
Yeah,
even know
Darth
how many
Vader
Star Wars.
and Palpatine.
so there were three
Luke
movies that came
Skywalker.
out in the
Harrison Ford and all
exactly.
those
Those
guys.
came out
Yeah,
in the
Han Solo,
70s to
yeah.
80s, and
Yeah.
then after that
Yeah.
there was a re-release of
So
those in the late
Navin is
90s.
talking about something that happened in the 90s.
Naveen is talking
No, no,
about the re-release
70s.
that
The
no,
the oldies. Return of the
Yeah.
Jedi,
So
Empire Strikes
the
Yeah.
Back.
70s
Yeah.
movies were redone in the
Released.
90s.
Yeah.
Basically, they redid the special effects. Have you
Called
never
it
heard
special
the
edition.
Han
Yeah.
shot first controversy?
Yeah.
No, he has not.
Uh,
I don't want to brag, but I'm more of
We're
a
too deep into
I'm a
Star Wars,
Hans
Amit,
who's
to
always
have this
solo.
Han
So
shot
I
first.
Basically, what happened
Also,
is that they
uh,
changed they changed the way the film was shot, or they changed the cutting, the editing a little bit, so that in the original thing, it looks like in one of the scenes that Han shot somebody just because, right? Han Solo, the Harrison Ford character, but now it makes it look as if this guy first shot at Han Solo and then he shot back. So it
Yeah,
changes
so
the
he
character in
had
a
his head
fundamental way.
little bit like this, so his
So
head would
he
move
okay.
first.
So he
Like-
was victimized
so
in the
like
second.
more of
film.
a hero than an
So
anti-hero.
George
like,
Lucas,
Correct.
who looks a lot
Then,
like
yeah.
Antariksh now, George Lucas has this whole thing that he could not do all those things in the 70s. So when the chance comes in the 90s, or when the technology catches up with the vision he had,
I
he
feel
would do that.
I feel George Lucas is Bihari because he's also got that first name thing, right? Like Shekhar Suman.
Yeah.
Because of the
Yeah.
caste
Interesting.
politics, it's George and
Yeah.
Lucas. We should be George Smith. He's not, there's something fishy there. Also, Harrison Ford's name always bothered me. Shouldn't it have been Ford Harrison? I always felt that the surname should be have more, gravitas and length to it and all
Yeah.
that. Harrison and then Ford. It just
So there was
sounds
this
odd.
there was this other thing
Of
on
all the things to pick
Star
from
Wars.
Star Wars.
Guys,
Yeah.
I'm not a sci-fi guy, except for to some extent Planet of the Apes, if you want to call that.
Actually,
I don't
Planet
know.
of the Apes, the new one. Have you seen the Matt Reeves series?
I've
No, is it
seen
good?
with my daughter Maya and Sterling the cheapest ticket I could get.
What?
It's the new series is
These
called
the Andy Serkis ones. Are these the Andy
yeah,
Serkis?
the Andy Circus ones. They are
The guy's name is
magnificently
Caesar.
done. Like
And he
yeah,
looked like Julius Caesar.
The monkey's name is Caesar, and then like in
He's
second
not a
part,
monkey, he's a primate. They're different.
he's-
How
he's
dare
a
you,
ape.
you racist.
Ape, come
I know.
together, strong. That's what they keep screaming in the movie.
Oh.
Together, strong.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
There's
it's
a
a
lot
lot
of,
of
sign
Simi
language
Garewal
also.
moments. A lot of Simi
Yeah.
Garewal moments in Planet of the Apes. In the sense, and let me clarify so nobody shouts at us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of looking into the eye, a strong holding of the gaze. Simi Garewal, 40% of the show was just looking at eyes
Looking at, yeah,
and eyebrows and things like that. And that happens with Caesar, menacing gaze.
interesting.
Yeah, I call it the Al Pacino method of acting, where forget the lines. I'll just stare for 2 minutes.
So I saw the Tim Burton ones. These are different, right? These are ones that just came out
That's
with
a
like
Batman guy. What are you talking about? I'm
he made
confused.
Yeah.
Tim
Yeah.
Burton made Planet of the Apes movies with Mark Wahlberg.
My
The
God,
2001
this is
version.
side B of the same song.
Yeah,
Planet of the Apes.
so
Oh.
it was like a horrible remake which people did not like because they used like a lot of good makeup, and Tim Roth was the villain in that. And
I love Tim Roth.
Yeah,
He's
so
more like an Indian-sized
Pulp
guy,
Fiction, yeah.
firstly. He's like a
Yeah,
guy,
so-
like, oh, ye Indian hoga.
Michael
He's
Clarke
like,
Duncan was one of the
Aditya
big
Pancholi's
apes.
younger brother.
Michael Clarke Duncan from
Yeah,
Mine?
he's huge.
He's also in the movie, and I personally love the movie because when I watched it, I was like, "Shit, this is the Planet of the Apes that the 2000s deserve." Because in the end, there's an entire twist, and I was like,
Is
I
that
love
the
this
Mark
twist.
Wahlberg one?
Yeah,
That's the
that's
Mark
the Mark
Wahlberg
Wahlberg
one.
one.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
the Mark
yeah.
Wahlberg one. That's
Where he
very
ends up
bad, man.
again
What are
on
you
the
talking
planet.
about?
It's
I know, but
considered
it
to
was-
be awful. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if we
no,
did
I've seen
Planet
it.
of the
It's terrible.
if we did Planet of
I
the
didn't know
Apes
it
in
was Tim
India,
Burton. I'm very
I
unimpressed.
think the whole
man.
story would be around whether.
What did you do?
What did I do?
we lost Cyrus, guys.
Oh.
Yeah, Cyrus video went off.
Now it's
It's
only an
fine,
audio
guys.
medium.
Yeah, it's only an audio video.
Wow,
So,
that,
but
now
yeah,
it's
no,
truly.
Listen. I was just testing
Yes.
the audience because they don't
Yeah.
understand sci-fi media.
We're
I was
seeing if they're paying
explaining to them
attention.
how we just spoke about re-editing and Han Solo's whole character perspective changes because now he's shot and then he's defending himself as against being the aggressor. So we did the same
Yeah.
thing here. I went out and I came
But
back in.
but
I looked
also
at them.
Han Solo got the most bitch ass death in the entire Star Wars franchise. Like
Don't
in
say
the
that. People haven't watched it, yeah.
people
But
have
No,
watched
no,
it.
that
That movie came out in
it's fine
2015
now.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
15,
old
16.
enough.
No,
Yeah,
it's fine.
what do you
Force
think? Star
Awakens.
Wars is only watched by people who love Star Wars. There's also new people who watch Star Wars.
I mean, if
I
you
mean,
haven't watched Star
yeah,
Wars in the month it
but
releases, then
if
you
you've
haven't
not
watched
seen it
Star
for
Wars.
5 years, if you've not seen it for 5, 7 years,
7
we can
years,
still
yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
it. You know.
You
There's
know,
no
my friend
difference.
Vikram, once we rented Star Wars, and I don't know because of clarity on those old landlines, and the video just sent Star Wars. This is a porn. And it
That's
was
a
so
porn, yeah.
embarrassing
Yeah,
because
that
everybody
Yeah.
was there.
Must be.
Everybody was like,
Yeah.
there were women, and we were just 16-year-olds. And I mean, it was like, nobody looked at the thing properly, you know. They write in pen if you remember on those old
So
VHS.
you had a porn library with such a vast selection that you could
Video jazz,
request
bro.
for by name.
Yeah.
You request for a porn film by name is
Hi
amazing.
Balbir, what's up? अच्छा वो देखो ना वो आ गया वो Star Wars. हाँ, because also a lot of porn films were being asked for now. So in that little
Yeah,
That's
of
what
course.
I'm amazed that you had such a amazing library that there were aficionados that were asking for movies by name.
because we'd ask him what's come out, and he would tell us the name.
Interesting.
Like there was Midnight Cowboy, which is totally different, and there's Dirty Cowboys, which is totally different. So you got to get all these
Like-
things correct.
That's interesting. I know
But
that
this is a very common thing, by the way. In
No, so
porn,
when I
they will
then
do like
Cyrus
popular
grew up
things.
Cyrus grew up
Yeah.
the same time as I grew up, dude.
Yeah.
You guys
Okay.
are a
Did you
different
go to Video Jazz
age.
or you went to Shimano?
that's
You're rich,
true.
right?
I was Shimaru, but I mean, like the porn stuff would come from like the sidey libraries, right? It would be like,
Yeah.
Video Jazz was everything. The thing is that my friend Rajiv's elder brother Sanjeev, good Punjabi boy, he was the contact because he and Balbir who owned the thing were the same age group. So it was
Okay.
much easier to get everything done through. There was a system.
But-
We were a little shy. We were
Huh.
15, 16 also. We were always shy to ask. So we'd go there and look at and pretend to be
Look
interested.
for
Gone with the wind, eh?
Yeah.
Gone with the wind. वो नहीं है.
Hmm.
Star Wars, you know, but
एक और पीछे से दे दो ना.
No,
That's generally.
पीछे से दे दो, you sound like my mother talking in English.
Yeah,
Please don't do
sounds
that.
like.
No, but that's
Just
what
say this is my entire sex life,
basically,
guys.
Can you give me something else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Sorry. Don't set me up and then you don't expect me to say that.
Yes, okay.
I'm
But
trying to
if-
also with the angry type
Somebody-
also, by the way.
Yes,
You
yes,
guys
fine.
grew up in a generation where you don't go to porn libraries, whatever. But I'm saying this
Yeah.
is normal. There are lots of
No,
bloody
but like,
titles
so
which are
see, some of
similar.
so if you
Oh,
have
very
like a favorite
interesting.
TV show, right? There's porn that exists about that TV show.
Of course,
Like, yeah, there's
that is
also
also
like a
there.
very
Yeah.
common thing
Like
now. Like 30 Rock,
Batman.
famously, yeah, Batman and
Yeah.
all of that is there.
Yeah. Let's not even
So
go
all
there.
that
I
exists
grew up in
very fun.
Bandar, which is like a very industrial area, like a lot of factories and a lot of these.
Is this a documentary now? Are we
Yeah,
going
it's,
to
a, it's my life story. You listen to it. Wait. So in 10th we used to do computer classes.
left field? I'm going to my Balbir story.
Wait, I'm telling you what happened in Bandar.
Okay,
Wait.
okay.
So when there's an entire road called BP Road, which is like the already too much on the nose because BP is short for
Yeah,
blue picture.
wow.
But it's
That's
Badri Prasad Road.
again, that's not your generation, Navin. That's our generation. Nobody says BP. We used to say
We
BP.
used to say PP.
Yeah, like our generation crossed over to from like blue picture to porn. Like it was like we were the last remnants of MMS where we were still calling it BP only. But
Blue
then
movies.
blue
movies,
movies
yeah,
also
say blue
No,
movies.
blue picture. BP stands for blue
Pictures,
picture.
blue movies.
That's
Yeah.
why dirty picture, no?
Yeah.
That's why it's,
Also,
it's
we had another. Sorry to cut you. There was one other thing we used to say Porn D. I don't know why.
Pondi.
Porn D.
Pondi.
Pondicherry,
Like
yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
can't
I don't
figure out
either,
what-
but that was a
see,
word.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you have to
I
find
know
slangs
exactly.
for it.
This is
Yeah.
every generation has ridiculous words. We used to have words like butchered up, which I still don't know why we used to say for getting screwed.
Yeah.
You get butchered. What the hell? Why would no Indian would use butchered?
Get bajawed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
butchered means what? I mean, like, was it butchered or was it?
Yeah,
But I don't think it was.
But
It
it's
was
very
like
Englishy sounding.
it was like
didn't go with
booch
the-
lag jayegi, right? Like it was kind of
Ah.
like
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
This
it
is-
was.
Ah,
It
butch
came
lag
out.
jayegi was
I
more.
grew up with. I don't know what the genesis of all this is.
I don't
But
either.
Porn D, for example, I couldn't figure out why we would say that.
So,
Sorry.
so wait,
I
my
mean,
story's not over. Yeah.
BP.
So this entire area was famous for two things. There was the fish market over there, and then the entire industrial area where, like, the daily workers would go and do all the steel factory work and everything. And for them in the afternoon to have a break, they would have like all these B-grade movies like Tarzan or like Jungle Mein Aag or whatever. Like it's all like just
those
Vijay
are not
Balan on the
even
poster.
BPs, Baba. Those
Ah,
are
but
just
there's no-
badly
listen,
made
listen.
films.
These are bad
There's a
films.
Yeah,
girl
but
Yeah.
there's
These are bad
show-
pictures.
the actors are not in the
Yeah.
movie. Once we went, just my friends and I, to see what exactly is this whole deal, because they put out benches and a projector, right? That's exactly that theater. Okay, it's a very small space, and everybody comes there to basically relieve themselves in a way, sort of, because they're like all away from their
Oh
families.
God, really?
Yeah. It's crazy, and so now there's like some other Tarzan playing which we have never conceived of. Like there's some other actors in the poster outside, and here there's some other Tarzan playing all together. Okay, and she's swinging. The girl is swinging, I'll say. But like for the first time in my life, when we were
What?
like ninth or 10th standard, we were like watching porn with older
This is-
factory workers, because it was like 30 rupees a ticket, and you could just walk in and see this entire thing. So like we had this whole weird experience
Was
growing
it
up. That
actual porn or what the hell was it?
it was big, like the soft mallu porn, like not something that was overtly shown, but enough to, for some people it was enough, I think.
You went with Mallu,
Okay.
not Bhojpuri. I thought you'd go with Bhojpuri on this one.
Yeah,
But
I don't think
No, no, like-
Bhojpuri porn is classy.
anyway, we
Okay.
polarized two states already, so let's keep going.
Yeah. Let's please like, share, subscribe, guys, if you like the Navin story.
And if you have memories of video
Alright,
jazz, please
let's-
write to us and tell us
yes,
about
please.
it. Yeah.
All
It's a
right,
bit like that
let's get
famous
to our
scene in, what is the famous Shekhar Suman scene where he asked for the condom in, what is that movie growing up? Yeah. Come on, we've all been through
I
So
know.
that's one of
I
the
know what you're
good
talking
scenes
about.
in Hindi cinema. Because you've all been through that, because you don't want to talk about condoms with an elderly person,
Yeah.
and how do you do it? And so
Yeah.
you order 9 things before that. I mean, that was really good. Seinfeldian. Yeah. Silvery's got
Yeah.
the studious look on his face.
Yes.
Of course, the audio
No,
medium, I've
let's
just
do it.
been better rectify that for those who can't see. Silvery looks like Yasin Malik a little bit.
Okay.
If you look at him closely, but
I
he
don't know
looks
who
like
that
he's-
is.
That's what I was about
Maybe
to
has
say.
George Lucas also. George Lucas also.
I
wears
assume
that
it's some sort of cricketer.
No, it's also I go
Yeah.
across the spectrum.
A lot of
While you
sportsmen,
guys
yes.
stay in science, why I go all over to revolutionaries and worse.
I,
Yeah.
okay,
Go
sure.
on.
I see the beard. I see the beard a little bit. Yasin Malik. Okay, sure.
okay.
Let's go to the first topic.
That was
The first
quick.
topic is
What an ego, huh? Just to be sure I'm not too bad looking, yaar. मुझे check करना
yeah,
पड़ेगा एक बार. Check.
I don't know whether it's considered good looking or bad looking, but yeah, I get the beard thing. Yeah, that's what you mean, right? Anyway, so the first topic is that basically Elon Musk has now bought Twitter, right? So inside Twitter internally, they are facing a lot of employee backlash in a way, because employees are not certain about their future at the company. Some of them are not feeling secure about their jobs. Elon Musk has been very vocal, publicly critiquing people like their top lawyer Vijaya Gadde, or critiquing
lawyer?
the
Is
work
that
that
what
she does.
So she's
So that's-
basically she's called the censor in chief, but what she does is basically she sets up policies around how Twitter decides to block things and how Twitter
She's
decides
like
to pull
almost a
things.
negative influence.
She's-
What can't go through?
She's basically, I mean, like
Good
honestly,
they took it in Indian. It makes sense.
yeah. but I mean, like her things are like the big reasons why he's going after this whole thing, right?
Yeah,
It's basically her
exactly.
policy. So
Yeah. So-
she
Can I
Also,
just say
speaking
one
of porn,
thing?
there's a lot of porn on Twitter also, by the way, Cyrus, if you did not know.
I don't think that would ever be the problem with Elon Musk. But I'll just quickly ask you. We've discussed this
but
before.
if he
Actually.
takes the porn
But
away,
you-
I'm sorry, we're fighting. Otherwise, we're
I'll go
fine.
back to video jazz. I don't care.
But-
I'm not shy.
it's interesting. I saw
Sabos.
I saw a kind of like a graphic somewhere in terms of degree of graphicness allowed on different platforms, right? And so
Yeah.
like Twitter is the only one which allows full on.
Tumblr and Twitter used to be the coolest.
Oh,
You,
okay.
But now
Tumblr doesn't do that
also-
anymore, right?
Refer to
Yeah.
episode 86, 204, 315. We're all freedom of platform.
Hmm.
Let the platform be free. Your right wing Nazi nutcase, whatever, just let it be free. But coming back to this, and Amit has actually discussed this more than once, but we have to. When you have some sort of takeover in any huge corporate space, an MNC or what have
There's
you,
gotta be.
how
this,
can you
yeah.
not have? How can you not? I mean, I don't see you. How can it be smooth? It can't be smooth.
It's never smooth, but it's never. It doesn't have. I mean, like
No,
it's.
but he'll.
It does.
You have
It
to
need not be
change his right
contentious.
way.
This
Yeah,
one
you
seems
bring him a-
contentious, is what I'm saying.
No, so I mean, like,
Like-
but there is always going to depends on
If-
the.
If he's talking about a suicide count, as in self-firing, self-firing is because you expect to be fired or you expect not to be happy, which is the same thing.
So I'm not too worried about that, to be honest with you. Even if I were Twitter or Elon Musk or anybody like that, right? The number of people who say that they are going to do XYZ thing because XYZ thing happened or because ABC thing happened are much lower than the number of people who actually do that, right? Nobody has left Maharashtra because the BJP did not win the government.
What are you saying? It's just
elections.
talk.
Nobody has moved from the US to Canada because Donald Trump won the election in 2016. Nobody,
That's true. A lot of
nobody
people
does
said
this
that.
shit. Everybody says
Yeah.
this shit. Nobody does this shit, right?
They were about to, then they saw Justin Thoreau and
Yeah,
they came back.
No, and the thing with Twitter is that Twitter, so people conflate the tech part of Twitter with the media part of Twitter, right? The tech part of Twitter, the people who work over there, they can go wherever the fuck they want and they'll get a job in 5 minutes flat. The people who work on the media side of
Hey
Twitter,
guys, that's Amit giving you a little inside meaning here. Let me explain. You guys suck. You're not important. The hardware guys are important. Rishi is important, okay? Sitting behind,
Yeah,
may be
that's for sure.
important.
We got it.
But
We got it.
you,
We got it.
me, we're not important. We can
I'm
just
not
fuck off.
replaceable.
Spelling it. I want to say this all in Hindi because that's our national language, and now Ajay Devgan says we must resort to that from time to time.
I heard about
So,
that. That was nuts.
हमारी कोई जरूरत नहीं है is what you're
Dude,
saying.
Exactly.
what is Ajay Devgan doing? Like, I saw Gangubai movie and he's muttering his dialogues. He's not even trying at this point. It's
Hey,
just
he was
like
good
he's
in
like,
Gangubai. He was at one tone,
boss,
but he
what?
was fine only here.
Yeah, the one tone
He
is
had
like,
like,
what
yeah,
words came out of
like
his
it
Would you?
mouth?
suited
Where
that
would you
role.
cast him? Would you
It's like
cast
if
him
he
in Star
opens,
Wars? If you could,
I,
where would you cast him?
I would make him Chewbacca at this point because he's only mumbling, and he's got the thing for it also. He's like, "Ah, Kajo,
Yeah,
the
it's just
thing is,
just
That was unnecessary. That was very
this cover
personal.
is.
I felt it's really not necessary.
I
That
mean, our
emoting,
Kajo.
I mean,
But also like it's like if he opens his mouth too much, the pan chupari will fall out of his mouth and he can't talk his
Yeah.
dialogues. That's what it looks like in the movies now. Dude, he's not making an effort only, man. Like he's just gone.
Imagine Pan stuck in Chewie's hair and all.
they can say the
Yeah.
same thing for Marlon Brando and Godfather. Sometimes it looks like he's really tired.
Did you hear some of those stories that basically a lot of so Marlon Brando's last scenes, right? The ones which he did with
Al
Michael's
Pacino.
son in
Yeah.
the orchard, the one where he's
Yeah.
dying. He was and with Al Pacino, Al Pacino literally had the dialogue stuck
Written
to
on his
on
chest.
his
Yeah,
chest,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Marlon Brando
Yeah,
was
yeah.
reading off it.
Isn't Akshay
My-
Kumar
my-
famous for that also? Although when I worked with him, he did.
No. Akshay Kumar is known as a diligent actor actually.
No, he's very
He-
diligent, but with the
he turns up
line.
on time. I
I
mean, like,
think
what does he have to say?
there are people who've done that. You put it on the forehead of the actor and all that. It's a little demeaning.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah, people do
So,
it.
Marlon Brando and Richard Pryor were like in a sexual relationship with each other,
Yeah,
and
that's what
like
they
one
say.
more actor.
That's
Yeah,
what they say.
no, it came out like Richard
Yeah,
Pryor's
yeah.
The list of
daughter, I
Marlon
think.
Brando's bisexual activity. Navin, you should know
Yeah.
all this.
I
But
know.
bloody kind of-
I was agreeing with him. Like,
one of the
I
greats
was
of all
getting
time, homo or straight.
Mal-
What difference does it make? Give us the full
well,
record.
well, bi is not homo. It's like your
What
host.
do you mean? No, you can't do this.
I can do
Why?
this. I can.
This is not again the transgender woman in the swimming.
Oh.
I mean, with the high test levels and all that. That's a huge issue, bro.
But
You come
but
in with basically male hormones, but you want to be a woman, but you've got all the male physicalities. There's a little bit of cheating, is it not?
I have no clue. It's too difficult.
Amit, if
Honestly,
you
dude,
decide
it's
you're a woman, but you're still Amit,
I
okay?
know,
And then
dude.
I make you, fight with a girl who's, physically it's just not the same capacity. The DNA is just wired differently.
Okay.
yeah, this is one of those famous controversies with the weightlifting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
it's
the
an
You don't know what the
issue.
answer is though. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it comes
it's
to
not
power sport I'm
simple.
talking, but if it's chess or something, it's a little different. But I'm saying
Yeah,
power
physicality
sport,
is
running
different, of
fast,
course. Yeah.
there is a difference.
It is different. Well, so it's a complicated piece, right? I mean, like again, honestly, I don't have an answer here. You're right. It does not seem fair, but at the same time, it's also
I think
when
next
you
time,
come on to the sex
You guys are
gender
like
whole
the
thing.
Indian courts. You're ducking the big issues, huh?
Well,
Okay,
because
fair
dude, it's
enough.
not
Oh, this is a big issue,
honestly, if
Cyrus.
there was a this
No,
is
I
how I've
understand
thought
what you're
about
saying.
this, but
What
there's
you're
no
saying is
real answer
your
here.
heart is with this person who's uncomfortable, not clearly, doesn't want to be bracketed in one or the other, actually,
Right.
etc. But what do? We have a system in place,
Exactly.
and then these 10 girls are going to say, look, it's like under 15
Uh,
fighting with
I-
under
just for the
11.
record, like
Right.
the Olympics has a set of criterias. Okay, when somebody has to qualify,
There's a
to
test
compete in
level,
team-
the testosterone level, which
yeah, and also the
600
various
or-
parameters are given by the Olympic board. It's not like they just get to go on be like, I'm a woman
Hmm.
now. You have to like clear certain criterias and also be with, because they have to put in
Bro,
the
this
same.
is becoming a
There's
big
weight
issue in
criteria
sport.
also in certain things. I
It's
know.
not
So
a
this
big
is
issue, man.
It's getting
It's
it is because
it's a
it's only an
issue
issue when
that-
people lose. It's when
no,
it's
and
when,
no,
a girl
no.
loses, she like, goes
mixed martial arts, in
It's
mixed
an
martial
issue
arts.
because it's the one which makes like what we're just talking about here, right? Antariksh, me, and Navin clearly are on one side of this. We don't want to say what we're saying, but it's an issue because it is the kind of thing that makes us uncomfortable, right? Where we are not being able to say that no, you must be able
I
to do what you want.
always wanted to compete as a woman. Always.
Sure,
Because I didn't
now's
win
your
as a
chance,
man.
Cyrus.
I thought
but
maybe if I
yeah,
try.
it's more of a talking point than an actual issue.
I don't know. What if I lost?
It's what the anti-trans folks basically point out because it's the one place where they can get me to kind of like okay, I got to moderate where I am a little bit
Yeah,
on this,
yeah.
right?
I know.
It's the one point they have. It's the one
So we're,
thing
we're,
they
we're
have.
with the movement, but not with the specific event in the movement, is
Yeah,
what we're saying.
Exactly. So
All right.
it's a
So all the people who are on the fence there, please write into us.
But on
right
the
now.
flip side, I'll also say that like women who have transitioned to men, for example, now trans man.
The flip side is the
they-
question.
No, so that's what I'm saying. That they have built their bodies to the point where you can't differentiate whether it's like let's say like a bodybuilder like John Abraham or Mukul Dev and that person, they have done the same amount of like hormones or like physicality and physical work also to build their body up. So it's not to say that it can't be achieved in terms of like
Bro, if they've taken anabolics to do that, for
yeah,
example,
yeah.
then
So
that's
that's
not
what I'm saying.
allowed by WADA.
But
You know, if they've
naturally,
taken
Cyrus, your
tests
body's
for
creating as a
injections.
male,
The
no?
thing is that this is the event that the issue that you're discussing here, right?
Yeah.
Is basically an issue that's being used as it's a football being
I
used
got
for a
I got your
specific
point,
kind of
Amit.
this. No, because they're the same folks, right? The same fuckers who
It
basically
undermines the movement.
no, there was a picture of somebody who won a race recently, so a female Olympian or international competitor,
Yeah.
swimmer,
Mhm.
and they all
I
called her
remember
trans.
this.
She
Yeah.
was not trans,
Yeah.
She was
right?
not
But
trans.
they all
Yeah.
called her trans because they wanted to
Yeah.
basically make the same point, right? So it's there's no real there's no easy answer to this, but
There are also those who just have high test levels and are not actually trans.
uh,
Okay, there are a couple of runners come to mind immediately. Anyway, let's leave this for another day.
Yeah.
Let's move
Also,
on.
and then if in that by that context, also if you look at Michael Phelps, that guy has an undue advantage. Have you seen his body shape? Like he's designed like a stingray. Like
His
you know, he's
hands are
just
like,
like
yeah,
yeah, his whole
and his
torso is
super
Six
long
foot
hands.
seven.
like
He's
a V shape.
6'7", and I'm told everything's
Yeah.
in proportion because when you wear
Yeah,
speedo,
so
Navin,
by
people know
just
that
birth, he has so much
easy to.
fucking agility that he can swim through like any water surface without like having to struggle. While someone pudgy like me is going to take 4 laps after him
You're not
behind, like,
pudgy.
just trying to
You're
catch.
gorgeous in your own way
Thanks,
with
thanks.
certain lighting and perhaps
I'm
one profile.
pudgy.
Very pretty. Very pretty. You coming out of the water is like Ursula Andress in that Doctor No film.
It's
Again,
like it's like a walrus
1960s
coming out of
talking here.
that.
Please Google.
All
I
right.
can't believe that
Should we-
now when we do a couple day reference, you will tell him 83, the movie. Come on, man.
Yeah,
It's
correct,
like that.
correct. That's so
Jeez,
true.
ouch. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
All right,
sorry.
let's get to
next topic.
let's get to another topic. Yes. So
did we
Rahul
talk about
Gandhi.
Twitter? I think we got
Oh,
completely
we didn't talk about
sidetracked
Twitter.
from Twitter.
No, we
Yeah,
discussed
yeah,
the whole
okay.
movement, what happens,
Yeah,
corporate
we
rule
hold.
cleanup.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything else? Because
No.
you want to should maybe again are they building too much out of this?
My favorite thing
Out
throughout
of
this whole thing has been watching Parag Agarwal have like different
Yeah.
views. First, he's been like, guys, Elon is coming on board. Okay, he's coming, guys. So
It's gonna be
excited. Oh my
great.
god,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we asked him because he wanted an edit button. Now he gets it. And then everybody was like, is this
But
guy okay? Like,
yeah.
why is he so excited? And then he was like, guys, he has said no to us. He was so dejected. And he's doing all
Yeah.
of this in real time on Twitter. Okay, so you can see like the emotions he's having based on what Elon is saying.
Also,
to
it's
him.
possible he found out that he might be getting replaced, right? I think
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
gonna
So in
change.
the end, when he was like, "I'm buying the entire company, fuck your board," he was like, "Oh shit, maybe I'll not have my job after 2 months." So
No, he will.
it's
IIT
yeah.
Mumbai will welcome him back as a professor.
Yeah, no,
There's always
Parag
work.
Agarwal is so he's not somebody
said.
who is in danger of not being able to find.
Not,
something.
yeah.
He'll find what
Yeah,
he
yeah.
needs.
I've
But
never met an
also,
Agarwal
like,
without a job.
yeah,
It's just not possible.
yeah.
Agarwal's not the kind of community you see hanging around like, yaar, mere ko
Also,
bhi bhej dena."
also I
Zero
read
one.
like the company has to give him like some 40-50 million if they like sever his contract within the next
Yeah.
12 months.
There's always
So
that
he's
kind
pretty
of stuff.
sorted.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
already
he's
pretty
sorted.
sorted.
Why don't we have those
Yeah.
contracts, Silvery? What are our contracts? My contract
Yeah,
doesn't give me
I know.
parking. Every time the driver has to show up, I'm arguing and begging with the watchman for parking. Bro, 40, 50
IIT,
million.
IIM, masters, PhD, then they get all this.
Balbir,
And
video jazz.
20 years
Boss.
of experience building
हाँ,
products.
नाम तो सुना है.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn you.
So next story is our Modi ji is out of the country, but our Rahul Gandhi
Germany.
is also out of the country.
He was in Munich, yeah.
Today in Denmark apparently.
Sorry?
Today Modi ji is in Denmark now today. Is
Wow.
what I read.
He always chooses
Uh,
these less
yeah,
glamorous
yeah, like
countries.
different
doesn't he?
countries
everybody
everywhere,
kept
yeah.
saying
It's always Denmark and Germany. How painful the journey must be.
everybody kept
So-
saying to
Oh,
Modi ji,
it's so
"You're
harsh
a
on my
fascist," and
eyes.
it's
Yeah.
like,
So-
where
so
is this
see
card? I
the-
want to
see
go
the-
there.
Yeah, now see the scope. Okay, now Modi ji is doing your Euro trip and all, and Rahul Gandhi is in Nepal at a
Very
nightclub
pretty
in Nepal.
country. Huh.
Very pretty country, but
Yeah.
there is a difference, right? Come on, Europe and Nepal. So he's in Nepal, and he gets caught at a nightclub in Nepal, which I'm gonna
He's
show you
not
the video. of.
caught.
He's not caught,
He's there,
but
He was-
he's there.
he was found.
No,
Yeah.
the BJP people are like, oh, pakade gaye, and they're like saying, ke, why is Rahul ji leaving the country when his party is in this current state? I'm like, Modi is also leaving the country, man. Let him enjoy a little bit of holiday. So yeah, I was gonna show you.
And
this,
here's the irony: the bars in Munich and Copenhagen are far better than the ones in
Yeah.
Nepal. So if anything, I mean, you should turn this around.
This guy's giving me Charles Sobraj vibe right now. Going to Nepal, just looking for.
It looks like
He's browsing on his phone.
90s Hindi film. Huh?
It's such
Yeah.
a lame party. The guy at the back is not even making an effort of dancing.
I
Yeah,
must
Also
say,
did
I,
that.
Rahul,
I'm
Rahul
looks
not
like a
was
going to be wrong on
staged.
this.
Looks almost looks staged, like the stage. Acha, chalo, let's make Rahul look cool. And now they got all this stuff.
You think they had less people at the party than seats in the elections? I mean, literally, it was like
I
we
mean,
don't
if it's
vote
partying in
now.
Kathmandu, obviously can't afford better party places
But
nowadays.
I
You
don't
know?
understand how it goes against Sanskriti and Parampara suddenly. You see a
Hmm.
Western culture, disco music, daru hoga udhar. There's a little bit of that
Well,
visual
that's
that,
always the
that
way
has to
that
be
these folks
enhanced for
do,
some
right? That's
reason.
what they do.
Yeah.
That's also
They
been
have
like
nothing.
Kathmandu's biggest problem also, no? Because like all these Westerners come to go to the Everest and they bring their drugs and alcohol and everything, and
Yeah.
the hardcore staunch Nepalese Hindus are like, "Ki, this is ruining our beautiful land and everything."
No, but
So
that's
and
more
Nepal, by the way,
environmental.
yeah,
They're angry about the environmental damage that
no,
comes
no,
along
in
with that
general,
also.
yeah,
You're
also
going more with
environmental,
right
but
wing
yeah,
religiosity, which is not so much of a
Yeah.
problem there. I've been to Nepal
yeah,
3 times, bro. It's a lovely place, really,
yeah, it's
honestly.
beautiful, yeah.
And they treat you really well,
Yeah,
I got no complaints.
I won't.
But I didn't get invited to this party. I nearly met Sadhguru. He was playing at a golf course. He
Oh,
was
Okay.
wow.
supposed to come for our event, advertising event, as the chief guest or something. We wanted him, and then he got really angry apparently because he lost that day in the morning. Apparently,
Wait,
he just
Sadhguru plays
doesn't.
golf? I did not know
He
this.
is very aggressive on the golf course. You got to be careful.
Oh.
You want to stand 10, 15 feet away because philosophy won't help you when
On the
that golf
golf
is
course,
going.
He's
he's
just
Pad
hit
Guru.
you on
You
the
know, like
gloves.
This is not a joke. Huh? This is the interesting part about this guy. He likes motorcycles and
Yeah,
golf.
very interesting.
That part is like very, very clear. It's not like a put
yeah.
on show. And so golf,
Yeah.
if you know anything, anybody likes any sport, yeah, when you get into it, whether it's golf or
Afterwards,
tennis,
Sadhguru
no,
is like,
the competitive nature of the
yeah.
beast is there. There's nothing you can do about that.
It's
That
like, what
comes
is a
out.
hole in one if not a one in whole? You know, it's like he's just making that.
Well, Naveen,
Yeah.
I would stop there while we're ahead. I think we said
Yes.
Yeah.
enough. We went to
Yes.
Munich, we went to
So
Copenhagen, we went to Nepal. Now we have to go back.
yes,
Remember.
He came
it's
back home. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Also now,
Coming
Cyrus,
home to
it's
see our
time
end.
for our break. But before our break, we have a very important thing that we do. Today we have a segment that we're going to play. It's an improv segment. The prompt for today is tracking your reward points on your bank is as hard as.
Well, it's as hard as for me getting my wife to find the parking ticket in the airport. I mean, always when we're about to leave, nobody can find that parking ticket. Every
Yeah,
time we're
correct.
standing there, I'm
Yeah.
like, get that parking ticket and assign just one person hold the parking ticket like a monitor till the person is picked up. I mean,
Yeah.
every
Why
time
do you
same
take
thing.
it out of the car?
But it's in the car, but you can't find it because there's always
Put it
5, 7 papers
on
around it.
the dash, like on the like
You're a
speedometer.
one person. This is like a
But
community living together. There are 16 papers.
okay.
And then you panic. The cars are honking behind, and I'm telling her. Well, obviously, she's driving, being the man in the family. I mean, there's no question about that. I'm gonna drive her right. Yeah. All right, let's move
Okay,
on with this game.
so
It's not my
yeah,
saga.
tracking your reward points on your bank is as hard as trying to straighten wires, like entangled wires, trying to pull them out. It's very difficult. So that.
Why are you
Okay.
straightening wires? Is this why you don't come
No,
to
no.
work? Are you actually an electrician or something in Hawaii? I mean, should we call you up
Yes,
every time the
that's
lights
it.
go off?
You
Yeah,
know the
yeah,
game
that's
I
it.
downloaded yesterday. What is called?
What?
It's
What is it
called
called?
it's called Tangle String or something like that.
Oh
It's
wow, what are
literally
the odds?
untangling. It's literally
Yeah,
untangling
untangling.
string.
That's not the
Yeah, I
question
find
we
it.
ask, boys. The
Yeah,
question we ask Amit is why?
Yeah.
Why are you downloading the Tangled Strings game? Which is
because Antariksh
you've
does
gone
all
from
these
porn
things.
to golf and Sadhguru.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't there something that
I
takes your fancy?
I enjoy the relaxing games which are difficult to solve, but at the same time, don't have a timer on them. Those are my
Yeah.
favorite.
He
games.
must be the terrorist's nightmare to break Amit down because I mean, he's gonna
Okay.
be like, yeah, can I have one video game?
Yeah, I don't ask for
Okay,
much. Just
back-
keep me
Yeah,
entertained.
really.
Yeah.
Yes, tracking your
Yeah,
reward
yeah.
points is.
Imagine Amit is about to be executed. Sir, what do you like for your last meal? अरे कुछ नहीं यार, diet chat पे. But can I get one video game?
And some burgers and pizza and coke.
Yeah.
It's like to go with it.
It's a fair deal.
Okay.
Naveen, your turn.
Tracking your reward points
yeah.
on your banking app is like when my friend gives me her bag and says, "Open my door," and I have to find her keys now in her bag, and I
Oh,
can never
okay.
find them. Dude.
Open my door.
Like, why do girls have everything in their bag? I sometimes wonder.
But I couldn't believe
Everything.
that stereotype is true, and it is. I
It
can't
is
believe
true.
it.
There's
Growing up,
nothing
until you actually experience it. It's
like
always a
years
lot
old
better.
mascara, like fucking
Yeah.
something, some last house ka keys. Okay, they moved out, their new apartment we are staying, but they have the whole keys.
I understand the mascara is hard to find, but why wouldn't you not keep the keys where they're easy to locate? Because that's your go-to
Yeah.
thing. The other stuff you need very rarely. Actually, they don't take them out that
But I
often.
think it's also because women clothing have no pockets at all. like when women jeans are designed, they're designed for like, okay, you can put one phone that much, that to like half of it comes out of the ass. So now you have to like, put everything in that one bag, because again those bags have no pockets. They're just like one entire, Mary Poppins ka satchel. And now you just fucking stuff everything inside that. So
God, I
that's
think
what
you become the Sadguru of Bhayandar. You're
I
explaining
become.
things very clinically and perfectly now for us. It's all making complete sense.
Yeah, like,
I'm
what
gonna
is
I'm gonna get
baggage
locked up
if not
today for
discovered?
staring at women's pants, but I'm not looking at the ass. I'm looking at the pants to see if they're pockets. I'm gonna
Yeah,
explain to
because
you, Milord.
if you walk too
Naveen,
much,
explain
fast,
to
fast,
me. I
fast,
was just
fast, the phone
verifying.
will come from the back pocket, it'll rise up and fall down. Like, so generally for clothing, I think every woman also
Also, they
wants
don't.
this.
You know why? I mean, they don't have that stance that Amitabh Bachchan stance that we men have, where you put your hands in the forepocket and stand to kill time, especially when you're in
Yeah,
places like restaurants, airports, and your body language is
yeah.
uncomfortable. We do that. You'll never see a woman go to the hand
Yeah.
position in front for some reason. I wonder why
They
that
They
stand
don't
happens.
have
at the
pockets.
back.
They don't have pockets, but they don't have that
Yeah,
gesture. It's not
But they
there.
don't have pockets. The gesture comes because you have
You
pockets. Now, if
think
you
so?
didn't have pockets,
If
yeah.
you'd
they
be
wear my
standing like
pants, they
this.
would do that.
And even if
If
their
you're
pockets are not
wearing,
deep enough, you'll
uh,
have to keep your hands like this in your pocket,
yeah,
not like this, because it's not deep enough.
I mean, Naveen has thought this through a
okay,
lot as a
yeah,
marketing
uh,
expert for pants. I mean, this guy has really opened my eyes.
yeah.
guys.
I
We are still in
recently
an
came.
improv. We're in an
Oh
improv
yeah,
Over
we're
segment.
his
doing a
improv.
session.
Poor
Okay, all
guy.
right, cool.
Tracking your
Uh,
reward points on your bank is as hard as trying to take out a chunk of meat after having mutton from your teeth. From the
oh
back of your
wow.
teeth.
Or even
Mm.
worse,
Yeah.
from your parents' teeth. That's really bloody. That's coming soon, Silvery. Huh? Don't worry,
Okay,
that's
yes,
coming
correct,
soon
sure,
because
sure,
you
sure.
want to be very careful. The very area that you're talking about can cause a lot of pain very quickly. So it's not a fun game at all. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
just warning you since you guys are young. Enjoy it
yep.
while it
Let,
lasts.
sure.
Shall we
If
go to the
anyone
break?
has one more, we can do that. Or let's go to the break.
Sure,
Yeah.
I guess you want me to do one.
Amit has obviously studied and come.
I'm trying to think. No, no, no. So I
He
haven't
It's
now
fine.
studied.
It's
because he's
fine.
holding
It's
at the
fine.
break.
Yeah,
He
it's
would
all
never
good.
hold at the break.
I should not hold other break.
No, don't
I
Actually,
have,
hold.
I have
yeah.
one. I have
I'm
one. I
under
have one.
pressure here. No, we can't. We
It's all
can't. We
good.
have to.
Well, no,
Relax.
like
It's
so,
all
I
good.
saw
It's all
one
good.
which kind of reminded me, right?
Okay.
Basically, so Harvesh was talking about the Sixers making it to the finals from this season. I would say instead of that, the way I'd go is basically with daylight savings time. It's hard to wake up in the morning for an NBA game now that they're starting at 4:30 in the morning instead of starting at 5:30 in the morning. I used to watch the second half by getting up at 6:30, but now to watch the second half, I'd have to get up at 5:30, which is not possible.
All I can say is I'm relating to pockets better. I just, all of us are dazed at your problems, really. And this is
Okay.
coming from me with my
But those
airport
NBA
experience.
NBA shorts have the best pockets. Okay, you can put an entire man inside and run
Will
around with like a
somebody
kangaroo.
rid us of this man?
Arey,
This
but
Beckett moment.
those
Somebody.
pants are so amazing, dude. I'm
Yeah.
not an NBA aficionado or a player, but I
No,
can
you're
wear
a
those
pants
pants all
guy.
day.
That's clear in this podcast. There's
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything but the pants. I mean, the hottest girl in the world in the pants. You're not talking about her. It's the pant per se.
Actually, I'm a killed guy if you ask me. I'm like old time Scottish. If everybody wears a skirt,
You like
everybody's
wearing
happy.
skirts.
Yeah,
So, so,
like
so
more
let's see.
breeze down there for everybody to be happy
I
in
totally
general.
agree with you. I wish people didn't think of it as unmanly for some reason. I think it's the most perfect thing to wear, where you keeps
Yeah,
everything free in the lower Neanderthal, not Neanderthal, nether regions.
yeah.
Neanderthal is
Wear
a
a
bit
skirt,
mean.
lower backpipe.
That's a really bad
How
thing to
it
say.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now that we've reached a point where we have to take a break because Rishi is having convulsions here in the background as well, and Vinay and him are talking. I don't know. They keep thinking we're flying a plane or something. There's like an emergency always. So we'll come back in a second. Here's the rewards, but before that, I think I have to tell you something that I've again thought of spontaneously right now. In fact, I think by now we all know there's no such thing as a free lunch. There's a free breakfast though, and I'll explain that to you later after we come back from the break. And any banking rewards are basically a lie. They are, which is why I was pleasantly surprised to find that on my favorite digital banking app, and hold, hear it, Jupiter, each point is equal to 1 rupee. That's right. You earn 1% rewards on debit card purchases and even some select UPI spends, and these rewards never expire. So the more you use the app, the more rewards you get. So basically, if I spend enough, I may even be able to get a free lunch purely by their neat reward system. I love the Jupiter Money app. No jargon, no hidden fees, and it's completely paperless. You can check out Jupiter.money or you can download the Jupiter Money app on your Android or iOS phones to get started. In the meantime, I'm going to go into a quick Jupiter Money break as Amit Doshi takes us out with his rendition of Suhana Raat. Amit.
It's
I don't know
Suhani
the
Raj,
song.
first of all.
Suhani Rat.
I
Yeah,
do not
Raj
know
is
the
not
song.
rain.
You see? You see the problem? Your
Is
anchor
this the
doesn't know the song. The artist doesn't know the song.
सुहानी
Oh,
रात
jeez. Oh, my
ढल
God. Okay.
चुकी
All right.
ना जाने
Where are his
Oh
pockets?
shit, dude.
Pull his
Oh,
pockets.
okay.
I'm getting
Pull
train
his
Now
flashbacks
I know
right
the
now.
song. I needed the second line to know that, but I do not know the words of the song.
You know the song because you know the second line, not the first line. This is
No,
just...
I recognize the song
Oh, you
after the
recognize.
second line.
Yeah.
The first line did not even give recognition. The
That-
second line I got
That's
recognition.
like a really selfish person on his birthday saying, "I recognize happy birthday to you, but not happy birthday."
Yeah.
The first line.
That's
What do you
true.
say to you, Amit?
Yeah. What is
Okay.
that emotion?
Cool, cool.
We're
We
taking
have
a
a break, guys. Yes.
Yeah. It's a quick Jupiter money break. Here it is.
Hello, hello, hello. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Advertising is Dead, Varun talks to artist manager Ayushman Sinha about what it's like managing a musician in the age of social media. On The Wire Talks, Siddharth learns about the rise and fall of the Sassoon dynasty from Professor Joseph Sassoon. On Audio Gyan, Kedar talks to co-founders Dakshayani and Mandar about their NGO Baitak Foundation. On Marathi Khidkitun, the Deshmukhs speak to Jairaj Salgaonkar, managing director of Kal Nirnay, about Almanac Publishing. And on Big Talks about Tiny Humans, Devi Shobha and Meghna share strategies to deal with sibling rivalry. Do follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, do tell a friend. It really helps us out a lot. Also, don't forget to rate us on any platforms you're listening on, and you can also check us out on YouTube. We are also doing a small listener survey to better understand how you respond to our shows and advertising on the network. We would really appreciate it if you could spare a few minutes to fill it. It helps us build better shows for you. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week, SBI Life Insurance, India Water Portal, and Jupiter, a digital banking app.
Okay, welcome back. As we say in television, you should never say it on a podcast. It demeans the podcast. But there's an elephant in the room, and once again, I'm going to just get into it. Okay, people are asking, Silvery, people are asking. I walk in the lane, and everybody from Raju, the tailor's son, to this MNC head. I don't want to give Goldman Sachs a plug. All these guys come up to me and say the same thing. What happened to Amit's voiceover? Why was it replaced with Silvery's? And people are not going to work.
It's actually Amit reading it. It's just a voice changer app that they've used to put in my voice. It's just
Right.
Don't worry, it's Amit
Gary
only. It's
Pereira,
Amit only.
all the way
Don't
from
worry.
England, is saying we miss your vocals, Amit, immediately. Before that, somebody
Amit's voice
Aditya
seems different today.
yeah, what do you? Why do you sound like beer biceps?
Beer biceps. Do I?
Ranveer
I
Alabadia.
Do you?
I didn't realize.
No, in
that.
your
I don't-
voiceover
I
just
don't think
now.
so.
So,
Yeah.
It sounds like weed biceps. Someone is saying.
So sad because we're trying to get the
Oh,
guy to
God.
sound like a Liverpudlian, and now it's become the. beer
I had
biceps
a
guy
tooth
from
extracted last week, and because of that, I couldn't
Yes.
speak clearly.
Hey, Janat9. I hope you got that right. Stop this guy. Silvery's trying so hard, and he's actually good. Great job,
Yeah.
Antariksh. Mildly flirting, I
I mean,
would say.
yeah.
Mildly flirting.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine.
Oh,
Thank you,
God,
Janat. Thank
he's
you,
feeling
Janat. Thank you.
bashful. Look at the guy. He's unhappy. And if it's an audio thing, you can hear it in the voice. Wow, somebody's got a crush. Somebody's got a crush.
Hey, you guys make fun of me so much. Yeah.
It's turned red. Cyrus, what are you doing?
Are you going to quit Twitter because of this? No.
Yeah.
So, Silvery, this happens
Okay,
a
okay.
lot actually with people like me. I find that because
Yeah.
we bully or we go on, cajoling and coaxing people to do stupid things, other people from outside always protect the other person. Like Kunal's always protected
Yeah.
around me for some
Yeah,
reason.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
get
just
it.
everybody just decides
get
that. So sometimes I think Silvery is a victim. He's no Kunal, let me tell you. Kunal does get bullied. Silvery, on the other hand, is one of those
Yes.
Maben Galis softly while he's talking back to you. So I don't know why you do that.
Yes,
Do you need to be
correct, correct.
protected from the bullies in the studio like Navin
I
and
don't
me?
think so. But depends, right? Depends from person to person. From Cyrus, luckily, I don't have to be protected. But there are other
I
people
have a
who are sometimes,
dream. To quote one of the most famous men in the world, I have a dream that one day our
Yeah.
podcast, it lives on forever and ever. Maybe 5-10 years
Yeah.
down the line, you become the
So
real
much so,
anchor.
and
Once I'm
okay, like
retired
that.
and
I
it's
thought,
your
I
show.
thought so much so that you
And
need protection from everyone. I thought that was it.
I will. But then you'll come back and you'll get your own Silvery. This is how it goes forward.
Oh
You get a new
yeah.
Silvery.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
And
Wow.
Uncle
And then
Naveen
you
will
treat
come once
him
in a while,
badly.
and Uncle Amit will
Yeah.
come once in a while. And they all say, Yaad hai? Oh. And then the whole...
Oh,
Is
then-
that not what we already do? Do you remember the 80s?
Yeah, I know.
In 10 years,
Dr. No
yeah.
reference. Come on, at 60s, guys. 60s. Yeah.
In 10 years, we won't have to come to a studio. I think we'll have a live broadcast of our conversations wherever we are. So we can just chat wherever we
Maybe
are.
we'll just say we'll tag the show as historical perspective so that people can get into the mood,
Yeah.
honestly.
In
If you
future,
don't know the
Cyrus
80s,
said,
don't visit the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Where were we?
All right.
I,
Next up is we have, so there's a company in Australia. It's a swimwear brand by the name of Lisa Blue. Okay. Now they have gotten into a lot of trouble
Sorry,
recently.
because
Who?
Yeah.
for those who
Lisa
can't
Blue
see the
who?
visuals, Silvery is going on doing it after Janat's remark about
Yeah.
protecting him and all that, her being a
Yeah.
lady, etc. He's now doing his hair all the time and consciously playing with his look. And I feel
Yeah.
he's trying to
Well,
smile and be more charming. I'm feeling uncomfortable.
But if
It's
you
like
keep
he's
pushing your hair
flirting back in a
behind now,
passive way.
you
yeah.
also kind of make your male
And now
model
our pocket
baldness like
director
come
Navin
for.
is directing his sexuality,
Yeah.
which is
Wait.
which is
But
where
what is
we are.
Naveen saying? He's giving me some hair tips.
Like
Naveen was
your
giving
Yes,
me some.
he
your
is.
forehead size will keep
Yeah.
going piche till like it's like over here. So just be careful.
अबे
Is what I'm
बेटा
saying.
पीछे ही जाता है बाल आगे नहीं आता है बाल
तो
it's called age.
अब तो गए
That
यार,
sounds
अब तो गए
gross
बाल
on so
तो.
many levels.
actually,
Okay.
it comes ahead too.
Really? I mean, that's real positive thinking.
Ears,
Yeah.
nose.
Oh. Okay, this shows
All
over.
the shit
Once Doshi decides to become an infant on the show, the show is
Okay.
over. Now we've lost
Yeah.
him. There's no way
That's
to
why
go.
like, some
Alright.
people have dedicated barbers because like who else will go into your cavities and cut your hair without like thinking about it twice, you know? Just like I'm going in, I'm a mine worker and I'm going into this cave and mining the cave, I said, for hair. I'm
But
sorry.
even the class of
Okay.
barber is important because the hajam I go to, they have no problem saying, "Kaat ke baal nikalo." They just
Yeah.
tell you on your face. But if you go to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
upmarket guy, he feels very sheepish to tell you, sir, there's a little bit of.
Yeah,
I'll just
they have to
clean
bring
the
out the
ear
LXC.
area,
They have a
it's
smaller
different.
trimmer
Yeah.
for your hair and everything. It's very
Yeah.
nice.
Anyway, we are interrupting the flow of this great
Yes,
man
yes.
Yes.
who's
So
flirting
this
away
the
left, right, and center. Go ahead.
Australian swimwear company by the name of Lisa Blue. They got into a lot of trouble recently because they basically what happened is a model walked the ramp with a swimwear collection from them, which had Hindu deities on both parts of the bikini.
The print,
Basically.
yeah.
Both.
the print.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, like the top and the
misunderstood
bottom
that.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, top and the bottom. And so basically, but they have multiple iterations of this. They have goddess Lakshmi on some, they have the Ganesh on some others, So they have like multiple iterations of this kind of a thing. They
It's
got
disrespectful
into
for some people.
yeah, to a lot of people. That's what the people are saying. The Ministry of External Affairs of India has said, "Oh, we will bring this up with the Australian authorities as needed," and people have been giving a lot of protests, which. I understand why people are protesting, but the protests visually are very funny because you see grown men with like huge posters of these bikini clad women and like trying to be very angry, but they're like very grown ass women, like grown ass men just holding up photos in front of them of like all these bikinis with like photos
They're
of
like, you
them.
missed the ramp walk. Now see what it was. Did you
But
miss the
they're
highlights?
pro.
You got the cover.
There is a
Yeah.
beautiful story here which we're missing, which is they are pro. So middle class India is now pro bikini. It's just not pro religious identity on bikini. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
We've reached somewhere.
I think
Finally,
the issue-
men
I
all
should-
across the country holding posters
So like
of
this.
women in bikinis saying we are pro bikini. Just don't put this on the bikini. Yeah.
Look at all of them with their mouths open. They're like, what?
This is kind of this guy, Mr. Mishra here, is the exact guy you'll find in Sydney buying bikinis and
Yeah,
those kind of bell
He
bottoms and
still
things
goes
that,
to like
that
old
he likes
Playboy
to wear.
magazines to see what
Yeah.
women look like. In fact, up
Yeah.
close. The thing is, like, this thing is even it's like I understand when like the middle class religious people get angry, but this has angered the Western NRIs also. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like people, girls are making TikTok, like my culture is not for you to appropriate and all. Doing this on TikTok also, and I'm like, okay, to an extent, but if you see how much
Also, maybe sometimes
in
we Indians are
America,
getting, we don't get dissed enough. So,
yeah, there's Union Jack on bikinis. There's Jesus on bikinis. There's Mother Mary on bikinis. I think they've never thought about it in that regard. That, why are we
Yeah.
putting this? But more like it'll look like a nice print, okay? And
Yeah.
that's the thing with always with Indian culture. Like whenever they took back the Wadli art culture
is-
or whatever, like the tie dye coloring
India has
culture. from
always
the
had
60s.
liberal
the thing is,
thought with a rider.
Naveen is absolutely
We are
right.
very clear.
Naveen is
Yeah.
absolutely right. You hear this argument made in against comedians also. Okay, like especially when comedians make fun of like say Hindu stuff, right? Like Hindu religion or Hindu stuff. People will come out to say, अच्छा Muslims का मजाक उड़ा के देखो, Christians का मजाक उड़ा के देखो, वहाँ वो तो क्यों नहीं करते, वो तो क्यों नहीं, वो तो नहीं करते तुम लोग, but नहीं
But we do
करते हैं
it-
लोग. You
they
are not
never
seeing
listen.
that.
Yeah, it's selective
Yeah,
tuning.
but there are
also.
enough
It's
people
just
making fun of everything,
yeah.
dude. So
I think it's all
like,
fine.
Yeah.
Make fun of all these people, but don't make fun of Parsis. That's all. Okay.
See,
I have
So
one
one is-
Parsi joke, Cyrus.
This is
Okay,
something.
do the Parsi joke.
This thing happens
not
every
doing it
5
right.
years, right? This is not the first time this has happened, where you have an Australian or American or a British company or somebody just
Yeah.
doing this, because the iconography is beautiful, right? And I mean, like, that's what they are looking at, right? They're looking.
It's an aesthetic thing for
It's an
them.
aesthetic
They
thing.
like what they
Yeah.
saw.
The other
Even the
thing to
Korean
consider,
group Blackpink got into trouble because they had Ganesha in one shot. Like
Yeah.
Correct, but they
what
didn't
call
mean to
it.
disrespect. See, we have to
Yeah.
always remember
the
that.
other thing to consider, right, is that Indian culture is a really, really old culture. It's
Yeah,
the oldest contiguous culture, if you will, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
When you look at other examples of culture which started evolving at the same points in time, most of them, right, like Egyptian, Greek, Roman, they're all dead religions today. They are
Correct.
not active
In fact,
religions. So there is
modern religions, Rajneesh's is struggling.
oh,
That's only 25 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the dead religions, you don't have people who are like,
Nobody cares to fight for it.
nobody
There's
is
no emotive
fighting
content left.
for, like,
And you don't take it seriously. You don't care.
exactly,
Zeus, is damn funny.
exactly.
But
Nobody
I
takes
could
that
be
seriously.
like, Zeus is my god. How dare you?
Yeah.
It's Zeus in
Yeah.
Marathi. Ja. So don't you dare say that.
And also in India, we have an issue around we must revere our symbols, right? Even the tricolor stuff, right? By which
Yeah,
this
it
Navin
took so
Jindal
long
fought
for
for
us.
so
Yeah,
long.
Navin Jindal. Yeah, exactly.
So long he fought about this, right?
I
To
mean,
kind of
us
make
growing up, no Independence Day, or except for the 15th August
Yeah.
and 26th Jan, no other day we had the flag in our
you're
hands.
not allowed to have the flag
Not
in your
once.
hands. Yeah.
That's why I used to roam around with the Trinidad flag.
Now, and is it? I mean, like, on a cricket jersey to have the Indian flag, that's
Yeah.
technically illegal,
It should
or
be.
it was.
Yeah.
Now, until
Especially if
this,
you're in
right?
Pakistan.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
call you out. Sorry, go on.
No, it was technically illegal for
It was.
the longest time,
You
right?
could have it in the window like the Americans have it.
You
All the
can't do
Americans
any
have
of this
their
stuff, yeah.
flag.
So
Yeah.
there is this now. At the same time, I would say this, right? This is the third time in my memory that this same thing has blown up, right? I know that it happened in like 2000, like in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, at some point in time. At which point might not have been bikinis. I think it was t-shirts.
Yeah, but
Then there were bikinis that happened in
floor mats
2011.
were
I'm-
there.
that's why I'm saying Elon Musk should be shot and internet should be banned for 5 years.
Okay.
Because it just allows everyone to just get angry over nothing all the time. Okay, I'm not saying this is completely nothing. If you're really offended, then the company can just take it off and end the matter.
So, but
there's war going on. There's inflation out of control. I mean, let's focus on real things.
my question here is this, right? Is this an honest error? Because if you are putting a
I think
product
it would
out,
be. Or you think
You're
they're doing it
putting a-
purpose to get some
dude,
brownie points
yeah,
and publicity,
dude,
which they've got.
yeah,
I mean, it's
do
huge.
some.
You can't
Also
get this off.
aesthetics. For white people, it's aesthetics. Indian look is like
I
one
mean,
of those
we four guys on this
Jews from-
podcast,
yeah.
none of us wear or buy bikinis, and we're
Right.
talking about this for 15 minutes
Sure.
of the podcast.
Yeah.
So that's a huge.
No, so
win-win.
I mean, like, is this deliberate? Is this non-deliberate? Who knows, right? I mean, like, and also the towards the active culture thing, right? I mean, like, in India, we don't do that. You don't do that to an active religion. And also in India, we don't do this kind of thing, right? I mean, do you remember the Roger Mapplethorpe exhibit about Christ? He did this in like the early 80s.
I may remember, but for those who don't remember, let's set it
let
up.
me set this up.
Don't know.
So
Yeah,
he
Cyrus
basically this was a point at which, like, you could really see that the change occur in terms of how comfortable people in the West were with sacrilege, blasphemy,
Yeah,
which
Jesus
all of this
imagery, yeah.
essentially comes to, right? So
Yeah.
Roger Mapplethorpe, basically, he had an art exhibit called Piss Christ.
Hmm.
It was basically it was a crucifix inside a jar of urine. And the point of it was to make a statement. It was not a
But don't you understand the stupidity of human nature here? Because the left liberals out of control also go out of the way not to be offended.
Yeah.
I have to not be offended. Okay, and the other side will just get offended about nothing at all.
yeah,
So
exactly.
some
But
of
that's
that
the thing,
actually
it's
the
like
whole
the-
argument waste of
It's
But
like
that's
the
the point
biblical
of art.
Moses story, right? Like humans will find a way to make iconography out of everything. Like when Moses was on the mountain getting the 10 commandments by God, where he's like, do not kill your neighbor, do not rape your neighbor, or whatever. Like he's giving 10 commandments down there. All the people he has freed from Egypt are like, what do we do? Moses is gone, so let's build a golden cow and worship it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, but I'll tell
human
you, thank God the
civilization
mountain
own-
was in Pali Hill because he still be climbing it. Okay,
Yeah,
it's a really
like,
difficult climb
yeah,
now. I got to tell you, there's just
yeah.
too many stops and too many people in the way.
Yeah.
If you live in Pali Hill, get the f out of the way, man. For God's sake, let the vehicles have the road. Now let's get back.
Yeah,
to the
that's where God gave the commandments in Pali Hill. Like, go forth and be banned, right?
Religion. It makes no sense otherwise. It's easy for those guys.
But
Climbing
you
mountains.
can't,
but-
right? Because by definition, and again, I mean, like, I'm sorry, I'm going to offend every religion here, right? By definition, religions don't work. They're not, right? I mean, like, dude,
You're singing to the priests.
they are
Yeah.
mystical kind of amalgamations of thought that occurred at the
Brother,
earliest
Amit,
1500
belief
years
All
ago.
these reactions are emotive. Everyone with even half a grain of intelligence understands that. No one's thinking through it. It's just I must be offended. My blood is rushing, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no point to it.
No,
It's just
these people are genuinely offended, right?
but Indian culture doesn't fall or rise because of a
It
bikini
doesn't.
that somebody in Australia is wearing. And for God's sake, there's another point here no one's looking at. Shouldn't be looking at the girl and not the picture of the goddess or
I mean,
whatever.
that's what the producers are doing. They're like, look at the
Oh, I
girls
know.
also,
The
please.
guy who designed the bikini was a man like me. Who liked the figure of a woman and said, "Wow, that's something I can look at without looking like a complete lech." So I'll give them
Yeah.
this to wear, and they wear it, and then you have to pretend like, "Oh, what a lovely bikini." But what you're actually looking at is what's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
whole package.
I prefer monochrome bikinis because
Marol
I
is
mean,
better than sorry to
yeah.
interrupt. Marol is
Marvel better than Pali Hill. Shoi
Pali
Bachi.
Hill. Yeah. And by the way, this is a running story.
No,
that
it's not.
this is your thing.
Mahakali Caves is better actually.
Yeah. So yes, most things are better than Pali Hill. No, they're not. I'm just joking. Pali Hill's a great area, and Marol
It's
is
a
not
great
very
area,
good.
but very
You guys
packed.
are not traveling enough.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
sit
it
at
is.
home and do the podcast.
No,
Get out
I
of
live
with the
down the road from
Aam
Pali
Aadmi
Hill,
like us.
Cyrus. I'm
Get
with you.
into
I'm
air
with you.
Fine,
conditioned
yeah.
one of your
Yeah,
get into
yeah.
one of your 7 air conditioned cars and go to the streets of Bandra like normal people.
Yeah,
For 5 to
correct,
10 minutes
sure.
in midday.
But
And
Pali
no-
Hill's Pali Hill's
Yeah,
what the
the
hell?
mean streets of Bandra.
Yeah,
Antariksh,
man.
that's what you
Yes,
need.
yes,
Pali
Yes,
Hill,
yes.
man, that's
Be a
the
man,
hood.
man.
Yes,
Man
correct.
Also known as
up, man.
Vandre, okay.
He's rude.
Wear a
Vandre is the
bikini, man. Wow.
Okay.
What a story.
Should we get to the
So,
AMAs? We have okay.
yeah. But I just want one thing.
Sorry,
If one of us ever lands up in one of these protests and we see your picture there, I'm just going to tell you, I mean, that's the end, right? You're one of those old guys carrying the bikini picture, thinking this is today's
Yeah.
rent. I mean, just that's it.
Man, you
okay?
will wouldn't you would never hear the end of it with your friends, dude. Like if you ever did this.
How can you ever show your face in public again? And be
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, so different people have different kinds of friends, man.
That's true. Yeah, these
Someone
people,
who
some people
info
are
shops-
shabashi and all.
Hey,
तुमने
hey,
अच्छा काम किया.
I'm getting my own religion.
Yeah.
I propose a religious Cyrusism where people follow no religion and shoot bikers. This guy, keep writing, make a full book out of it,
Yeah.
and give it a nice
10
name.
commandments for
One
Cyrusism.
Piece commandments. Contemporize,
Yeah.
contemporize.
Yes, correct.
The word commandment
Alright.
only irritates me, because it's like you're a bully then. It
It's
should
a
be,
rule, yeah.
yeah, it should be more like, suggestions.
And the 10 commandments in Christianity are so hilariously like obvious. Like, do
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
kill. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
thanks
yeah,
God
really.
for telling me not to kill.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was going to go on a rampage.
I was going
Yeah.
to. Thank God, page 4 clearly explained.
Yeah,
Don't kill.
they're like
Like
do
all,
not
all the
covet your
murderers
neighbor's
in the
wife.
world have
I
just
was
never
with my
met
neighbor's
read
wife
the
for
10
15
commandments.
minutes, and then I
Yeah.
saw this picture.
Yeah, they're like, do not covet your neighbor's wife. I'm like, what about the husband? I can covet him, right? Like,
That's give sexism a one in the chin for that.
yeah,
That's a
like
good idea.
find a
Yeah.
cheat code out of it.
You want clear? As your lawyer, I'm giving you full responsibility to enjoy yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Poor And there's also a myth that Moses had 15 tablets. Like, he had 3 tablets with 15 commandments, and one
Yeah.
fell down because he saw the people worshipping the cow and he couldn't believe
That's a
himself.
Monty Python sketch, isn't
That's
it?
a no, that was
That is
based
the
off of a rumor. Monty
okay.
Python
Listen,
sketch was based off of a
He
rumor,
had
and there is
15 tablets, but he didn't have a prescription. And can't get your tablets.
Yeah,
Let's go.
wouldn't go down.
Anyways, we're going to get butchered, to use an 80s phrase. Be careful, guys.
Butch
Follow
out.
the line here. Yeah.
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 All right, let's go to the AMAs.
Waiting.
The first one comes in from Girish Patil. Hey, Girish. He says the BJP and Shiv Sena are fighting for who destroyed the Babri Masjid. Should Supreme Court book them since it's an illegal act according to the judgment? Yeah, I don't know how these people
That
are able
is-
to say with such
You know,
conviction
can I
and
tell
such
you guys?
pride.
I
I
don't know
was
if we can-
involved in the destruction of this
I don't know if
mosque.
Vinay can next time bring out the, the law itself, which clearly says that you cannot rabble rouse and express yourself in polarized communities and, make suggestive comments
Yeah.
that lead to communal disharmony in actual words
Mm-hmm.
that I've used. So I'm just saying that is clear, and hate speeches are all over the place. Forget the internet and some 3 lines that you're picking up on Twitter here and there. Proper hate speeches by hugely well-known actors.
But that's the
Okay,
thing, right?
across
That's
the
how you know they're good enough to go to jail and come out as better MLAs. That's how it works in BJP. It's just like,
Nobody goes to jail except
No,
Munawar
but even
Faruqi.
Shiv Sena,
No,
even Shiv Sena is trying to
even if
take
they-
credit right now.
yeah.
कि हाँ, हमने किया था.
They have.
That's such
No,
a
no,
weird.
that,
that
that's
is
the
true.
complex. Sylvie, that's another, the irony in that complex, because that whole thing is, this is Saffron is our agenda. Bala Sahib designed it. I created it. It's our agenda. It made us nationally famous, and it did. It definitely did. And now you've taken it from us. And even the Babri Masjid was our idea. And again, you've taken it from us, with the help of Advani and a few others. And so that's the other thing. This is our idea. But the whole point of whether it's right or wrong is not even. The point is, we were there first.
They're like, Shiv Sena,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
we have to do the right thing now. We have to be nice people because all our negative thoughts have been taken away and have been implemented by these guys. It's crazy. Even
Well,
recently, like Samit
throughout,
Patra is still getting fame on TV by quoting Bala Sahib. He's just like going around saying that this is what he said. Even that whole H word controversy began because he quoted what Bala Sahib Thackeray had said about certain people. But that's the thing, right? Like even Uddhav Thackeray was like, "Why are you doing this? Why is their language now Bhagwa when we were the ones who came up with it?" And
there's a
now they are,
request.
yeah.
Can Silvery pronounce the chief minister's surname? We're giving him three options.
Uh,
Thakare,
okay, yeah.
Thakarse, Thakari. This is what you said. Okay, I've
Did
had
you say
people coming
Thak?
and telling me, how
Did
can
you
you live
say?
in the, how can you not know your chief minister's name? Even I, even as a
I,
He
no,
said
recent,
no.
Thackeray.
I knew it's Uddhav Thackeray. I just mispronounced it as Thackeray, yeah, by mistake. Obviously, but it was the
Thakriya.
second option Thakar
I
The
mean, you know
or
what a
Thakri?
sense of failure
Thakri,
this is for
Thakri.
the system. I mean, his pictures everywhere, his name is everywhere, loudspeakers are being used, banners everywhere, videos everywhere, talking to the state, all that. And
Yeah.
after all that, you
Like,
still get the
yeah,
result.
Uddhav is thinking, what more can I
What more can
do?
I
Yeah,
do?
to have my name
Yeah,
out there, man.
yeah. And it's like I'm not even Uddhav Sahib. Like that's the worst part. Like my father was
Yeah,
Bal Thackeray, but Bala Sahib. Everybody
Uddhav
just
Thakkar.
Nice, nice.
Thakkar.
Uddhav
Uddhav
Thakkar
Thakkar.
coming soon.
everybody's
The
like Uddhav
Pawai
Thakkray.
for chief minister.
Yes,
All
correct.
right.
All right.
Yeah.
Next one comes in from Janet Bain. We've already talked about it, but we haven't talked about it with Amit here. What are your thoughts on the Depp versus Heard trial? Do you think Depp will win the case?
Well, if he wins or not, he's already won in a sense.
It's
So
giving us a lot
Yeah,
of memes
public
though.
opinion,
That's
he's
the
already
best part.
won.
can,
Yeah.
can I just say this right? This is one of the things about. I have not voluntarily wanted to find out one single thing about this particular case. It's not
You're
interesting.
Okay.
anti-populist.
It's just annoying, dude. I mean,
Fair
like, who
enough. I'm
gives a
also
shit?
anti-populist. I get irritated if everybody's watching something like I can't see
Yeah,
it.
who gives a
Yeah.
shit, right? I mean, like, they're two Hollywood actors who are
True.
both full of themselves and both idiots, and they're fighting each other for
Yeah.
God knows what.
Although,
Apparently, one is taking a dump on the
yeah,
other's
exactly.
bed, and the
You know,
other
there's
is
a
Yeah.
like,
little respect.
Dude,
But
that's
you're
what's
going that
the
far.
that's the
It's all
fascinating
Amber
part
Heard,
of it
by the
all,
way.
man.
no, but even
She's
this
a
guy,
crazy
right?
one.
Like,
Yeah.
apparently, he is like passing out, like, coked up out of his head, passing out with his kids in the house, young kids in the house. These are idiots, man. Seriously. And I get celebrity culture to some degree, but this is not even that, right? Like the Met Gala, I understand. It's wacky, it's weird, it's bizarre, but I understand it. This I do not
Mm.
understand the fascination. This is like literally rooting through
You're
people's.
talking about whether these are PR exercises by Australian corporates and all that, and we're saying possibly it's not completely impossible. They'll get a lot out of it. I the same thing with these two actors.
Yeah.
You revive the career of Johnny Depp. All of
No,
us
she
again. We're
ruined.
talking about it
He
every day.
He
he
ruined his
lost
career.
out on. Yeah, she ruined it, right? He lost out on the
Maybe,
Pirates
but
material.
at the point he is now,
Pirates and Fantastic Beasts. Yeah.
this is an exercise in PR.
And a few
Everybody
other
likes
indies
Johnny Depp.
also.
The thing is, like, years later, somebody will make like a biographical drama about this, and the actor who
Yeah.
plays Johnny Depp will win an
Not
Oscar.
years later. Now this will happen in
in,
6 months,
in
1
4,
year.
5 years.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like Amit is saying the right thing, where like it's just a microcosm of like what real lives are sometimes played out to
I
an extent where
think
like their life is so much in the radar that
a
they'll pick
real
out every little
genius
thing.
will
Yeah.
get Johnny Depp to play Will Smith in a biopic about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett with Amber playing her, and then you get levels in the
Yeah.
levels, the onion being peeled and all that. Yeah, it's gonna happen. But
That
I
is-
do think it's going to work well for him. I think he's got a real rebirth.
I have no idea.
We
man.
discuss him every day at home. We have nothing to do with Johnny
Yeah,
Depp.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just such a.
I mean, A, you live alone. B, your whole idea is that I want to be against this whole populist rubbish.
No, it's not. I don't want to be
Thing.
against it, dude. I'm in the entertainment space,
Yeah, I
business,
know,
right?
but
I'm not against it per se. I understand the importance of publicity, PR, all of that. I get this. I
I'm
get
don't
why
take a
people.
judgmental view. Just get out of that area
It's
and
not
just see the fact that this
judgmental.
guy is now
But
reinventing
the thing
himself. Because
also now is
I
like
mean, do you not agree? Do you not agree
But
that you
there
can't?
I
It's like a
agree.
Netflix
Also,
series going on
you know,
right
like
now.
the biggest impetus that the male social justice warriors needed was the fact that okay, for the first time we finding like a case where a woman is also abused a man, and
True.
they jumped on it
Absolutely
like
true.
so hard. They were like, oh, women are also like that, but like okay,
I got
maybe it's a
excited.
one-off case. Like it's like every aspect of it is being. Why are we excited about beating a
No,
punch?
because you're right. In a sense, we're
Okay.
the minority's minority because there are a few men who've been pussy whipped all their lives. Sorry to use that phrase. And so you can
Yeah.
sort of understand that a little bit,
Yeah,
and that doesn't
yeah.
get enough word of mouth because it's the proportion is ridiculous because
Yeah.
of male
So
bashing.
now
the way
everybody
males
just
behave.
like look at his injuries, look at this, look at the scar, look at that. So like they're sharing photos. So what's happened is
But
this has
it's very
gone
tough to
beyond.
come out singing her praises.
It's the
What have you
same thing
guys?
that I said during the whole Mahima and Utsav Chakraborty controversy also in India is that this is not going to the court. It's happening on the court of Twitter, which is the biggest stupid court to have because
Yeah.
Who's
everybody has
Mahima and Utsav Chakraborty?
when the whole Me Too controversy happened. You know,
the Indian Me Too.
in the Indian Me Too situation, right?
How did the Indian Me Too started with that? Now Utsav was writing for AIB.
Utsav the comedian.
Yeah.
I said the
Okay,
full
no,
name.
Mahima. I didn't know there was a
She
Mahima.
was the girl who made
She was the one who accused
I
him.
mean,
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah,
for
cookies.
elderly people, you please explain what you're saying. Again, should I start saying Kapil Dev Gavaskar? Now what will you do?
Yeah,
I
we know
know.
who
You
I
they
should
know.
not.
are.
Look,
We know who those are.
Come on. Huh?
I know who
Manoj
those
Kumar,
are.
in
Who's
your
that?
face.
Yeah,
I
even
know.
I know who
Rajinder
those are.
Kumar.
I know Manoj
That-
Kumar.
Ravindra Kumar.
Silvery is shaky now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get him slowly.
Uh,
Meenakshi Sheshadri. Rakhi.
yeah, great,
Rekha.
great actress.
Stop
Great
naming
actress.
dead people,
Gimme
Cyrus.
Katkar.
Yeah.
Actually, come
Rekha's
on.
alive.
Ah, Shirodkar.
Rekha, almost.
Come on, give
Uh,
me something, beta. Give me something.
ABBA.
Abba, ba, 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 ba.
Appa Jabba, whatever that dialogue is.
That's your
Okay.
Star
Abba
Wars
Dabba
character.
Jabba.
They ran out of names.
No, no,
That's
that is not
Jabba.
Star Wars. That's Abba Dabba Jabba the Hutt.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Abba
Jabba
Jabba.
the Hutt. Let's go into a couple more quickly.
Yes.
Yes, please, please. Next one comes in from Rohit Atre, who says, what is your most favorite home food item you miss the most when you are away from home for long?"
Okay, my mom hears this, I'll be in trouble. But I love my old dhansak, but now it's being made by other people and it's horrible. I don't eat it, so we banned it, sort of, and I try to get it from out. But I'm very touchy about home food. If it's prepared slightly different, I don't like it. And the thing is, my mom used to cook herself.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
a little lazy and blames her 80 years of age on it. And I feel that's wrong.
Yeah, I
Get
know.
back in the kitchen, mom.
Yeah, my mom is experimenting nowadays. I don't know why. Like at 65 or something, she's experimenting with food. I'm like, you're not fucking Sanjeev Kumar. Whatever worked, worked. That's why we ate your food so many
But
years.
even if she's Sanjeev Kumar is the actor, Kapoor is the chef, but then we
Kapoor.
leave that
I'm
aside
sorry.
for a minute.
I'm
That's
sure he
possible.
cooked for his wife at some
He had no
point.
arms in Sholay, so this is difficult cooking to do. But no, I
He was
get
doing
what you're saying
ratatouille.
exactly because no, what the mothers don't understand, or people don't understand, is that we have traditionally 5-6 things that are popular.
Yep.
Why would you kill that? You know, if it ain't broken, why fix it? Sort of philosophy. Why? And that's happening in my house. This is my wife.
Yeah.
And there's all this hybrid cooking and all that comes with it. And although she's not too bad with food that we never ate before, like
Right.
Mediterranean food.
Yeah.
Not, my parents couldn't spell Mediterranean, and my wife brought a breath of fresh air, all that. But in the same time, I miss my curries and all,
The
yeah, which was
things that
better
you're-
before.
Things that you grew up with.
Yeah,
Yeah. I know what
Yeah.
you mean.
I don't know.
I have
they don't
for
see the
for
show.
me it's basically honestly it's just the kakri tomato sandwich that with chutney and it's just
Made at
that's
home.
yeah
Butter chutney
I just
sandwich.
love
Yeah.
that shit, man.
What's so special? The butter?
I don't know, I just love it.
The
I just
chutney
love
is
the
the
way it's
love.
made at home.
What could be so special?
Yeah.
I mean, this all boiled stuff,
So
bro.
we
I'm on-
no, so what we do at home is we make it like a grill kind of thing. So it's not like it's not grilled as in like a press grill. It's grilled as in like on a tawa. So
Tawa,
basically,
yeah.
it's like a grilled cheese sandwich with the
Oh,
vegetables
yeah, I
inside
like that.
it.
I love that
Yeah.
grilled cheese thing.
Mm.
But is this made by a menial person who's underpaid by you and then made to live in terrible conditions, or is it your mom?
No, this would be the menial person made underpaid by me and who lives in terrible conditions.
So their
That's
love
so
is what
separate
Amit
these
misses.
are things.
But he
Yeah.
makes
But he's
makes
been
it-
trained.
he makes it extra.
Yeah, but
he's
he's
been
after
with me
some
for
time,
20
if they
years now.
disappear, the next person isn't trained as well. Or I don't know, something happens in
So
the chain. The chain
honestly,
doesn't work.
I've eaten more out of this guy's hands in my life than my mom's hands. And, he's been at my house for 20
Oh.
years now.
Does he wear a bikini?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Then it's fine. Yeah.
All right.
For me, it's dahi kadi chawal. My mom makes like a killer kadi chawal.
Okay, so
And,
here's the question: Can that be made by somebody else?
Not as good as my mom's.
You live with your partner now separately, right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
all can you without mom can it be made?
I've tried it multiple times. It always has more basin than dahi for some reason. My estimate is always off. So I'm
This is
basically
amazing.
eating fried dough.
Something in
it's
this,
like-
it's just amazing. Why are we not able to reciprocate the damn thing?
Absolutely.
I just don't
yeah.
get it.
I do
And
not
this
You know, the
story,
funniest
everybody
thing
has
is,
the same story.
in the lockdown, I learned how to go to the market, buy fish, and clean and cook on my own. Okay,
It's
so I'm very
walking.
proud. Yeah, yeah. My favorite thing is called bombil fry, like the rava bombil fry.
Yeah.
And my
Oh,
mom
love bombil
used to make
fry.
it for years, and I would love that. So I'm like, let me try. So I took the recipe from her on WhatsApp. She gave me the breakdown. I
And
did
that
all
essentially is
this.
just frying. So I'm thinking that you can't be so.
No, no, no.
No,
Bombil.
you have bombil is a very difficult fish to manipulate
Yeah,
because you have to
because
get the
it's very,
water
very
out, you have to put
delicate.
weight on it,
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
to cut it, slice open, and then marinate it for half an hour. So all of that I did, and then I was going home. So my mom had also fried bombil over there, and I had fried bombil over here. So I'm like, let me get some for you, and you give me yours, and then we do a taste test of who did it better. Karke. And I went home and I was like, wow, your mom is so good, so good. And my mom and dad are just like fucking like, this is disgusting. What have you done? Why are you so horrible at cooking? And I'm like, okay, calm down. Why are you being to be so like, no, there's no
And you
flavor,
know,
there's
if
no
your
nothing.
parents give the thumbs
Yeah.
down, I mean, you suck.
Yeah.
Because nobody's parents
Yeah,
go out of
it's
their way
a
to
full
put them
reading down, like no value to you as a person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think
I mean, I'm
we-
sorry.
research has to come up with better answers for why we don't, the legacy can't continue without the person. And that's
Yeah.
because some of these dishes are traditional dishes which the communities
Yeah.
make. It's not like a special dish that your mother's made.
It's like for
It's
my
just
mom,
general.
masala is like something that should trouble you the next morning, not something that just goes and you enjoy the meat. For me, it's like, okay, fish is something that you have to like have balance with, but
This
like
is
let's
very
just put
Catholic
all the
thinking. You
masala.
have to suffer for your pleasure, beta. You can't, now
For
he's coming
3
from.
days, like Jesus, you
Why is the
suffer after
philosophy?
that
Yeah.
food. Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's
This
it.
is what India is all about. You want to live here, you got to suffer a little bit. Yeah, it's in the book.
True.
Yeah. Same with
You
Hyderabad. I
guys,
was there. It was 40 degrees outside, and they're still everybody eating biryani. I'm like, guys, maybe have a chance or something. Like, balance it out. There's nothing simple around my entire hotel. It was just like spices, and everybody's like, even biryani, halim, mutton, this, mutton, that. I'm like, oh shit. As a non-vegetarian, I've never felt so embarrassed in my entire life.
No, but once you read that book, 100 different types of biryanis, you can actually, you can do that with many dishes, whether it's, paneer masala or chicken tikka or whatever. You can actually eat that dish again and again because it's made very differently across the length and breadth.
You've read that book, 100 different types of biryanis?
I've not, but Kunal brings them over and we've tried
Okay.
them.
Right.
So,
He's
like you
eaten
didn't
all
know
the
that
100 biryanis.
the South has more than the North.
I know.
In terms of the
I've
proportion,
heard
like
that.
60 odd in the South and 40 odd in the North. So,
I have
Yeah.
heard that.
so I was like stunned. So
You'll
you
get the
don't
curry
know.
patta and the whole 9 yards in the South biryanis.
Biryani starts becoming more like a pulao. The
Yeah.
Parsis make it more like a pulao, or pilaf if you want,
Yeah.
if you like. And then it starts changing completely as you go more north. Maybe it gets drier. As you go more south, it gets more wet. East, they want the potato inside.
There's the
Oh,
there's the
that's
whole
nice.
cook the meat with the rice or cook
All
the meat
that,
without
yeah.
the rice. Yeah,
So
Yeah.
there's
it's
the whole.
different. So much
Kolkata biryani has struck the balance according to me.
I
We
love
have
the aloo.
argued this
Aloo
on
should
the
be
show before.
compulsory.
I agree.
Everybody should be
Yeah,
given a
yeah.
potato a day. That I'll vote for that.
No, I
minister
think a
comes up with that.
potato.
I love aloo.
So with the tooth broken, right? I
Yeah.
wound up eating mashed potatoes more than a few times,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
fuck, man, they're awesome.
I love mashed
I
potatoes.
just love
But you
mashed
put butter in
potatoes.
it. No,
Huh?
that makes a
Yeah.
difference.
But I don't make them. I call
Well, I'm
for
feeling
it. Right?
hungry now, guys. In
Yeah.
the middle of 11:09, there's no food, nothing here. What are you doing?
I'm not a fan of mashed potatoes. They are very bland, no, for the most part.
No, they're not
It
bland.
You
depends
can
on how
add
you
cream
eat it.
and
That
salt
cheese and
and
all that.
flavors.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Nobody makes it just mashed potato. And even that is
Yeah,
good.
I know, but the mashed potatoes I've had in my life, I've always been bland for me.
See, you
So,
guys have a
yeah,
different technique. You take the potato, you sit on it
Yeah.
for 5 minutes, then you serve it. I mean, that's wrong.
Amit, you must have seen the Idaho potatoes card. They have the entire range, where it's like powder, okay? Like
Yeah.
potato powder, and you put it in water and put boiling water, and then it becomes like fully mashed. It grows into like a meal, like a Star Wars dish. And I was so amazed by it because you just like keep swirling it and it becomes size to size. I'm like, what is this science that people have invented? It's amazing. And it's actually delicious. It's good potato flavor and everything, consistency. It's
How can
amazing.
anybody? I mean, how can you not like potato?
I don't
If there's
know.
anybody amongst us who doesn't like a potato, leave the country. Go to another country. That's
It's
what they say in
literally-
India.
love
You
French fries.
Yeah.
But every country has some potato dish. You can't escape it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
I have a
Already she did
relative
one
like a
thing right.
potato dish, but she's
Yeah.
now migrated to Australia, where the bikinis can start.
All right.
Are we done?
Let's,
Is that the end of the show?
Yes,
Or-
we're done. Yes, we're done. Yep.
Or do you want to go on for another 5 minutes? Because
No, let's
I've got
let's end it
parking for now.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
No, I think we're good.
We'll see you tomorrow. But I have a very important line I'd like to share with everyone. I write my
Yeah.
own poetry. This is from Songs of Silence, which I dedicate to people in Walkeshwar, Malbahil.
Paul
Don't-
Simon.
Okay, so I ripped it off. Don't forget to download the Jupiter Money app on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. All right.
Oh wow, beautiful, beautiful.
We're the only
Beautiful.
people laughing at the podcast. Don't you realize that? Thank God for that. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.